All right, here we go. Bug Leovold versus Eldrazi and Taxes.
It looks like Andreas won the die roll and he's choosing first here. His hand is maybe a little mana heavy. Well, not really, actually. It's got the right mix. It's got Thought Not Seer mana, and Displacer mana, thanks to Caracas, and Thalia mana, plus a Wasteland. I don't know. That seems like a pretty good hand.
Yeah, it says land go on turn one, right?
Yeah.
It does actual nothing on the first turn, but after that, it's fine. And like you say, mix of land and spells. Wasteland is pretty good against the Bug Leovold deck. There's actual 0 basics in Rachel's first deck. And they know the pairings. They know the deck list. They know the pairings. So I think I like his keep here.
I do too. Also, he knows that she can't really punish him very badly. Oh, well, Ancestral Recall is a pretty good punish, but she can't generally punish him very badly for his slower start here with the quality of his threats here.
I'm not sure I play that Ancestral turn 1. I think this is land Deathrite.
I agree with you. I think you have to set up and support your mana base here more so than draw cards. Also, Tarmogoyf is big in this matchup.
Tarmogoyf's a big boy.
Yeah, it's worth noting that Andreas has absolutely no way to remove a creature once it's in play, aside from creature combat.
He's got Eldrazi Displacer. Come on.
He can tap it. He can tap it. That's right. So he can get the tempo win that way. But I think Tarmogoyf is big game for Rachel in this matchup.
Well, doesn't he play 2 Containment Priests main? Containment Priest Displacer is absurd, right? You flicker them out and they don't come back. Like that combo is...
So she does have to kind of watch out for that. And ironically, one of the best uses for Leovold in this matchup is against Displacer.
That's fair. That's a good point. All right, here's the Thought Not Seer. I mean, I told you from Rachel's perspective, I would have done the same thing she did. I would have played Deathrite Shaman on turn 1, but it's going to leave her with some regrets.
Andreas has actually a tricky choice here, right?
You don't take Ancestral? You think he has to take Tarmogoyf?
I just think he's got to consider the fact that Tarmogoyf is good, but he's got his Displacer and he's okay. Plus, she can't really pump the Tarmogoyf well and quickly. It's going to be land and if she's lucky, on a spell.
Oh, how good that Ancestral would have gotten flashed back if it's still been around. I agree. He can consider Tarmogoyf, but I think he has to take Ancestral there.
Yeah, I think that's the right choice. This Leovold is somewhat nice here. It gives Rachel some ancillary card advantage against things like Displacer and Wasteland.
It's fair. I said in the pregame show that Leovold did basically nothing in this matchup, but you make a good point. It does a couple things. Oh, Caracas can bounce it, but she gets to draw a card.
Yeah, that Smasher was a pretty big draw. Andreas was already advantaged with a 4/4 going over the top of Leovold, but that Smasher is really going to put the pressure on her. She basically needs Trophy to get out of this situation right here and now, because her Goyf just can't get big enough fast enough.
I liked her chances before the Smasher top deck.
Agreed.
Displacer did not look fast enough. Thalia did not look disruptive enough. Smasher, though.
She can play Goyf and an Ambush Viper in this turn, and she'll have some options for maybe trading with the Smasher, but her life total is going to be so low at that point that the rest of the cards in her hand aren't good enough to come back from that, I don't think.
Yeah, I think her plan here is Snapcaster plus Leovold. I'm with you though. I think you can play Tarmogoyf. I
think you play that Goyf there. Yeah.
I guess she's planning to gain a couple life after she loses some creatures.
I guess that seems like the play, yeah. Which is a reasonable line for the long game here, but the problem is that Andreas has not slowed down at all. He has quality threats here.
Yeah, I find this Eldrazi deck. I messed around with it myself some, played some leagues in the previous season of VSL, and it has one of the widest ranges of any vintage deck. Like the good draws are off the charts insane. Nobody can deal with them, basically. Yep. But you get a lot of clunky hands where you need to draw exactly the right mix of mana and threats. And he's done it here, so this draw looks amazing.
This draw also demonstrates one of the weaknesses of Tarmogoyf in this particular build of Bug. It's not a cantrip-based deck, right? Without Preordains in a deck like this, she only has 4 cantrips, basically, plus Demonic Tutor. She can't fill up her graveyard with a diversity of cards like a regular Xerox deck can more reliably do.
This Displacer is very good. Andreas was able to play it and leave up 3 colorless mana via the Ancient Tomb of the Wasteland, so he can mess up a double block. He's basically anticipating Snapcaster Mage, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not even going to attack with Thought Knot. He's just like, here's my 5/5 trampler. Whatever you're going to try here, good luck. I'm going to displace my way out of it. Right. So you let her double block and then flicker the Snapcaster, trampling over Leovold.
I'm not sure which plan I like better. I'd like to get Leovold off the table. You're right to remove ancillary card advantage from the displacer in subsequent turns.
Oh, but trample for 4 is pretty good too. That's a fair
But
point.
trample for 4 is pretty good. I would have swung with Thought Knot Seer right there. I
Same.
don't see what
What
the
is he
drawback
playing
is.
around?
Yeah, I don't see what the drawback is with swinging with Thought Knot Seer.
Yeah,
The
I feel
absolute
like
worst case scenario is you actually lose it in combat and you're still winning this game.
right.
I mean,
I
yes,
guess
you could block
on
with
board.
Deathrite and Leovold, yeah, but he can disrupt that with Displacer, as you said.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think he should have attacked with Thought Knot.
Now we'll see what his choice is here. So he's clearly displaced something. We're about to find out which one it is. There you go.
Snapcaster.
Yep. She draws a card from Leovold.
Just a
Snapcaster no
time
longer
walk, no big deal.
she'll actually be quite happy to see that, given the Goif in her hand too.
Indeed.
So to your point, she's going to probably gain 2 life off of Leovold here end step, which I do think is more valuable than adding a power and toughness to Tarmogoyf.
Was it better than playing the Tarmogoyf?
In my opinion, no.
Yeah, I think I
But we'll
agree
see
with
how
you.
it works out.
She's got plenty of mana though, and now with the time walk, I think she's got the ability.
So she can play Leovold and walk here.
Right. Or Tarmogoyf walk plus activate Deathrite. No.
No, she can't do can't do all
Right.
3
Yeah,
of
that
those
doesn't work.
things. But I think she's at this point she's just conserving a card in her graveyard, which I think makes some sense. She can just play Leovold next turn and have have Deathrite Shaman activation up for no loss.
God, those missteps.
See, this is what I mentioned in the pregame, right? She doesn't have many dead cards in her main, but drawing both of those in this game is the death knell. Imagine if one of those was any kind of interactive spell like an Assassin's Trophy or a Fatal Push or something.
Well, she couldn't have more Assassin's trophies, but they could be preordains. Just having them be preordains would be
That's
plenty
true.
good enough here.
She's done a decent job of clogging the board here, but this is the part of the example of just how powerful the creatures in this Eldrazi deck are. It's fairly hopeless for her team to fight this team, right?
I think so.
Especially with a Displacer mucking up the works. And he can double displace this turn, too.
He can also Karakas the Leovold.
Which is more efficient mana-wise and probably the correct play.
I mean, if you Karakas the Leovold, now your Displacer isn't letting her draw cards, right? Yeah,
Yep.
Get Leovold out of the way. She gets to draw a card. Leovold's ability has been way more relevant than I was expecting. I don't think it's going to be enough, though.
Agreed.
Right, now here's 12 power. Her Tarmogoyf's only a 2/3.
If she had drawn exactly Assassin's Trophy right there, it might have been good enough. But there's just too much power on the board. At this point, I'm guessing Andreas is perhaps consulting her deck list to see what threat she really has here. And I believe it is just more of the 2-mana threats. It's another Snapcaster, perhaps to block, and or Assassin's Trophy. Neither of which are actually good enough. Assassin's Trophy is more card disadvantage if it would go against the Smasher. And,
right, and you can displace your own guy to get your way out of it.
That's true.
Get your way out of it. No, he's gonna clear blockers pre-combat. Seems reasonable.
And him keeping up the double activation of Displacer should be the death knell here.
Yeah. Also gives him the ability to play Thalia or Displacer post-combat. Yeah. Turn them all sideways.
Yep. Now she only has one pretty bad block, which is the double block on Displacer here, which,
she's not getting out of that.
Causes her to lose anyway.
All right, we got a lot of Magic left to play, but game 1 does go to Andreas Peterson. Mm-hmm. It is best 3 out of 5 matches. So Andreas is gonna, I mean, at best, he's 1/6 of the way there for him, and he might have to win a lot more games than that.
So settle in, folks. Now we get to see how these players are sideboarding for games 2 and 3, and they're not being quick about it. No. I can tell you that much right now. Andreas has fanned out the Katakis and Serenities in his sideboard, but he hasn't made a switch yet.
None of that does anything, right? I mean, the containment priests are sort of relevant in that the slowish creature deck is the dream for the Displacer containment priest combo.
Yeah.
But
do you think another containment priest is better than any of the other cards in his main?
that's the question, right? Does he have anything to take out?
Yeah.
I gotta say, by the way, his collection of bad 3-drops is impressive in these first 2 decks. 3 copies of Glow Rider in this one. Glow Rider is like, it's almost 20 years old. What is it, 15? It's from Scourge? It's like early 2000s, 15 plus years old. See basic, almost no play across any format in that time. And
That's
somehow,
Vintage
the white
staple.
Eldrazi deck is so desperate for even more Thalia effects that Glow Rider comes out. Creature type helps out with Cavern. It's part of the reason Glow Rider does come out. Doesn't fly, but it does share a creature type. And then this next deck has the Scab Clan Berserker.
Right.
As it's full commitment. He's just like, I know this is a kind of mediocre 3-mana creature, but this is my plan. He's got all 4 Scab Clan Berserkers in the next deck. I don't know. I admire his dedication to the cause.
Meanwhile, Andreas has a very similar hand that
the
is
Pearl.
A little heavy on mana, but it does have turn 1 Thalia, which is really nice. And uncounterable Thalia at that.
Yeah, I think this hand is significantly better than the last one because of exactly that card, Mox Pearl, giving him a turn 1 play, and not just any turn 1 play. Wow, he went Ancient Tomb, and why would he do Ancient Tomb there? Did he just misclick?
I think my expectation is that he has double Thalia and was okay with one of them getting countered.
Hilarious. You're right.
He would rather make an Eldrazi uncounterable for the rest of the game. Yeah.
You're totally right. He was hoping she'd counter that. Mm-hmm. Well played, Andreas. I didn't see that line, but that's totally what he did. And now she's probably going to use a Wasteland on Ancient Tomb rather than the Cavern she might care more about.
An extra benefit for Andreas?
Well, maybe. He doesn't actually have 4 mana without the Ancient Tomb.
That's true. It doesn't help with the Thought Knot Seer, but he'll draw more mana sources.
Oh, well, that's just Thorn of Amethyst off the top to go with Thalia.
That Wasteland does make this particular turn bad for him, though. He can't actually cast anything.
Oh,
because of his own Thalia.
Fair.
Similarly, though, Rachel couldn't Time Walk last turn, so I guess all's fair at this point.
Yeah, it's interesting. His sequencing there on that turn 1 is way more interesting than I was giving it credit for when I saw the opening hand.
Meanwhile, Rachel, who kept a hand with only 1 land that produced colored mana, has drawn 2 colored mana sources since then, and that's very good for her because her hand is pretty mana hungry to begin with, and she's facing down Thalia.
Indeed. Thalia doesn't tax creatures.
So now we have a legend battle here, and this one goes to Leovold, all things being equal.
Replacement Ancient Tomb off the top, so he's back on his Thought Knot
Seer. Yep. And this is pretty bad for Rachel, right? Yes, she has a lot of removal spells, but tempo-wise and tactically, taking this one right here is pretty bad for her. You see the card draw from Leovold. When Thought Knot Seer targets her, she draws a card.
Do you think this is a clean Assassin's Trophy? You're not worried about the Mind Sculptor over there?
I think he should consider how impactful that will be, and I think he's doing the right thing in considering it. Also, Jace Vryn's Prodigy is no slouch because he sees that Time Walk to go with it.
Yeah.
And JVP is not a game breaker in this matchup, but it can monkey with his combat math and his ability to really break through just a hill giant in Leovold. And now he's suffering a little bit from one of the features of the deck. He's got the Displacer in hand, but he sees that he doesn't have a Reality Smasher on tap, and he's got a redundant Thalia in hand, so he can't just smash through her defenses like he did in the last game yet.
He did take the Assassin's Trophy.
Mm-hmm. I think that was the right choice, but it was good.
I do too.
Yeah. Now she's 1 mana away from Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Okay, she's just going to burn the Time Walk hoping to draw land, probably.
I think so.
I don't think it would have been crazy to go Jace. Well, there's the land.
See, now this is very interesting. This is very strong for her Because bouncing, yes, Thought Not Seer being replayed can strip her hand of cards, but she gets one back.
Leovold changes that equation for
That's true.
sure.
That's true. It's no longer losing card advantage for her.
She's losing. I mean, she draws the extra one and then he takes the best one. So Thought Not Seer is still better than not getting the Thought Not Seer effect.
But also in a case like this, it's taking his whole turn at this point to replay that Thought Not Seer.
Oh, the Leovold triggers when they get the card back? Oh, I didn't realize that. So Leovold triggers twice per Thought Not Seer. It's actively card disadvantage for Andreas. That's nuts. Like Leovold triggers both when the Thought Not Seer takes a peek and when the Thought Not Seer gives the card back. I didn't realize the second Leo trigger. Like, yeah, he's not even going to replay Thought Not Seer. He's on Displacer.
The Ancient Tomb there was unbelievably good for him, right? The Ancient Tomb is basically destroy target Jace the Mind Sculptor.
He gets to flicker Leo out of the way and come in with Thalia for the last 2 damage. Wow.
Yep.
That Ancient Tomb was perfect.
However, look what has happened in all this card draw, right? now she's found another Assassin's Trophy, and Jace Vryn's Prodigy is there to rebuy it, in addition to Time Walk in the long run, one or the other.
Thalia did work turning off the Force of Will, but...
Yep. Well, still. The Force couldn't act on that uncounterable Eldrazi anyway.
Oh, good point. Yeah, Cavern.
Yeah.
So I think you Assassin's Trophy the Displacer.
She does have access to 5 mana, thanks to the Deathrite and 1 land in the graveyard. But she also has to consider how she manages her mana with Deathrite going forward, right? There's no other wastelands or fetches in sight, so she has to consider, yep.
I think you Assassin's Trophy something before his mana untaps.
I don't think I agree with you, just because look how high her life total is. She's at a comfortable 17. If he's activating Displacer to get in for 2 to 5 damage this turn, I think she'll take the card draw, right? She's got a little inverse kind of necropotence going here.
All right, well then Trophy the Thalia before the Displacer has the ability to defend it.
Well, I think there's some validity in what you just said, but I also think that she's probably expecting him to invest most or all of his mana at some point here. This play also keeps Force of Will alive for the moment, just in case.
She could have played Dark Confidant and done that. Why has she left? She's left 3 mana.
I think she's left herself flexible to cast Trophy if she wants, or cast Force of Will if there's a juicy target, right? Because even though he has a Cavern, not all of his creatures are uncounterable, right? A Thalia 2.0, for example, here could be counterspelled, and I think that would be a decent play for her. It's hard to get value out of a Force of Will in a game like this. We're in the mid game here, and there's a Cavern on Eldrazi. There are scant few targets for that Force of Will. I think she's keen to find one, and if there isn't, she's got Assassin's Trophy live. Let's not forget that Displacer can't protect itself.
Fair. She always has the option to Trophy away the Displacer. She just surrendered her ability to Trophy away Thalia.
Correct. But to be perfectly honest, looking at her hand and the 4 lands and no wasteland in sight, now he's made his land drop, I don't think this Thalia is as impactful as it could be in other games.
I guess that's fair. All right. Caracas is going to bounce Leovold. Once again, Andreas is saying, you can have 1 card, and then I'm free to do some stuff. Uncountable Thought.
So now I would expect to see Rachel Trophy in response to this, right?
Yeah, I think you let the Thought Knot resolve, let the trigger go on the stack, and then Trophy away the Thought Knot Seer.
Yeah.
I think I agree.
It looks like she is planning on trophying another target.
Like you predicted, he did tap enough mana that she has her choice despite the Displacer.
Mm-hmm. Despite double Ancient Tomb, it's pretty easy for this Eldrazi deck to spend a lot of mana every turn.
All right, she says enough of this Displacer.
Yep. Also, she notes that she has Jace Vryn's Prodigy going to go active very soon. Depending on her draw step, it might even be next turn.
Yeah, Trophy in the graveyard, definitely better than Trophy in exile.
And now look at this. I didn't realize it at the moment, but that Assassin's Trophy was the last relevant card for Thought Not to take really out of this hand. Like she she has double Leovold. He would take a Leovold if it was the only one, I think. She's already got one Jace Prince Prodigy. And Dark Confidant is of questionable value at this point with all the card advantage she's already had. Yeah.
You take Bob. The Force of Will's not irrelevant. Well, okay, he plays his Thorn here.
Yeah. She would really, really love to be able to force this Thorn,
No,
but
that doesn't
she
work.
can't. Yep.
Yeah. Dahlia gets in too. All right.
She's still in a very comfortable spot though. She draws a replacement Bob just like that.
No problem.
Uh-huh.
There's no land actually for Deathrite right here.
Yeah, she's a little bummed that she didn't draw a card that she could put in the graveyard. Oh, she would have
Fatal
loved to have
Push.
drawn those in the other order. Look at that. What do you pitch here? Leovold? In the face of Caracas?
Probably backup Leovold, yeah.
Yeah.
Do that or Force of Will.
She's still holding out hope that there's some use for that Force of Will, I think. She's a true blue player.
If she fatal pushes the Thalia, she turns her Force of Will back on? I guess she can wait and do that later. Question is whether you're playing Leovold and Bob, or whether you're playing like Leovold Dark Confidant Fatal Push. She gets to play 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think Leovold should be one of them.
She can't play Leovold and Push because Push costs 3.
Leovold costs 2. Oh, Push costs 3?
Thalia
the Thorn of Amethyst.
Thorn, yes.
Sorry. I forgot I've been thinking about Thalia the whole time. I forgot to update the Thorn of Amethyst.
So
You're
she
right.
went with Push, which I think is a fine choice, and it looks like the follow-up then is Bob. Yep. This is good. This is good for her. Now, she is exposing her JVP to Caracas, unfortunately. But there's really not much she could do about that. She got the maximum amount of value out of it that she could. And it will return. Thought Not Seer was a pretty good top deck for Andreas there. He just needs to be able to continue to apply pressure in a way that she can't well address.
Right. 4 damage. Both players have taken more damage than you might think this game.
This is a tenuous spot for her because this Dark Confidant could reveal something that costs 2, 3, 5 mana and put her dead on board.
The new Thought Not Seer coming off the top is also bad news for her.
But she does have Deathrite Shaman, and there are multiple creatures in both graveyards now that she can use to bolster her life total over the course of the next few turns. I would expect to see that how this game plays out because she can play, assuming Caracas bounce JVP, which I think is probably the right play here. She can replay JVP and leave up a Deathrite or replay Leovold. Either way, probably replay Leovold because if he wants to use Caracas, then that gives her card advantage.
Well, first Andreas has to figure out how many of these Ancient Tombs he's willing to tap. Like, if he wants to play Thought Not Seer, and Thalia and activate Caracas, I think he has to tap both his Ancient Tombs.
It's getting a little tenuous, and he has to respect Deathrite Shaman too.
Yeah, he's at 6 if he taps.
If she has just Assassin's Trophy, basically, and she can trophy away the untapped Thought Not Seer and get in with Bob, she can hit for 4 next turn. Yeah, so he can't go to 4.
Yeah, I think this is the right way to play this, is you just don't play the Thalia. That looks like Thought Not Seer mana to me. You should get the uncounterability off the Cavern, though.
Yeah, it looks like he hasn't done that yet. Oh, wait. You can't get an uncounterable Thought Not Seer.
Oh, without tapping an Ancient Tomb. You're right.
Here, yeah.
He's got to get the colorless mana from somewhere. Something has to be actively colorless. So,
and he knows about Force of Will.
Yes,
so
he does.
It needs to be Cavern, Ancient Tomb, Plains to cast this Thought Not Seer.
Force of Will is turned off right now because Deathrite Shaman has no lands to eat.
Oh, you're right. There's no land anymore. Sure enough. So he doesn't need an uncounterable Thought Not Seer, really. And it looks like that's the conclusion he's made here is that
The real question was whether he was willing to tap Ancient Tomb. I guess he gets to do everything. He had a land in his hand that lets him cast both spells and also use Karakas.
Mm-hmm.
This has got to be the Leovold. Yeah, she discarded one of them, so now here's the other. She put JVP back in her hand so it can't flip into a Planeswalker this turn. Pretty good turn for Andreas, but yeah, he's
pretty good, but it's not without risk.
Oh, a Snuff Out and an Ancestral.
Wow. So I heard you like drawing cards.
The Snuff Out was off the... Which order was it? Snuff Out off the Dark Confidant?
Yes, it must have been, because it went into her hand first, yeah.
But wasn't she at 11? I missed the order.
Actually, no, you're right. That's it. I thought that left to right meant the Snuff Out came into her hand first, but
so did I. But apparently not.
So both players are really treading the line here, right?
Wow.
She really wants to snuff this Thalia so that then she can Ancestral.
Pays the 4 life, gets the card draw off killing Thought-Knot. She killed the Thought-Knot, not the Thalia. So Ancestral costs 3 here.
Oh. Protecting her life total more than her spells. Yep.
Sort of. I mean, she paid 4 life.
Fetch land might look like it costs her life, but it actually gains her life because she can fetch and then Deathrite.
Yeah. They're both at 6. This is just bizarre. I guess it's pretty hard for her to deal 6 other than with Deathrite. Hard for her to...
If he didn't have, I mean, he's empty-handed at this point, right? I mean, he needed exactly a mana source that wasn't painful and those 2 creatures to cast last turn, right, to really punish her.
She's going for the second Deathrite Shaman. So
this is good. This is really good for her because now she has no Karakasable creatures, and he can't tap an Ancient Tomb this turn unless he kills her in the process, right?
True.
He can't go to 4 because she's got him on 4. Also, at this point, he can't even attack with both of his creatures because he's dead on board if he does.
No, she's obliged to block.
Oh, she's obliged to block one of them. You're right. So
I think she chumps Thought-Knot with Dark Confidant is, I think, her play. So she doesn't have to worry about the Dark Confidant flips. Takes 2 from Thalia, has up double Deathrite with a bunch of untapped mana.
Yep.
She can chump block Thalia next turn if she has to. I think this has to be Dark Confidant blocks Thought-Knot and take Thalia. Although I guess if you double block Thalia with Deathrite Shamans, you get to trade.
Yeah.
But do you want both your Thalias? Like your clock, 2 Deathrites is just a faster clock than...
I think she's supposed to double block Thalia there.
I think I take 2.
I genuinely do.
I think I take 2. I like her line. This means he can't tap Ancient Tomb without dying on the spot. Well, dying as soon as she untaps. It means...
Oh, he can recast Thalia. How cute.
So that it's untapped as a blocker. Hilarious.
Yep. I like it. Oh, and she might have just seen that in combat. She can put first strike damage on the stack to kill a Deathrite and then make this same play.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, your line does not work.
Yep. First strike plus Karakas is highly relevant.
Good point. Double block definitely would have been bad.
Oh, she has access to Force of Will.
So she does.
It finally happened.
Land, the Folly is not in play. It's only the Thorn. Wow, yeah, this is a great Force of Will.
Yep.
I mean, she's down to 2, but there's no longer a Dark Confidant. He is... I mean, she doesn't know he's empty-handed.
Now she does.
Now she does.
I wouldn't have played that Sapphire.
Same.
I wouldn't sure what value he gets from playing it.
Cool.
Ooh, Leovold 3. Interesting. She has the mana to present double Legend here, and his Karakas is tapped, so he can't get rid of both of them. She can present double Legend and keep up 1 Deathrite activation. That's very, very good for her. I think he needs... The pressure's on him now. He needs a really good top deck to get out of this situation.
Yeah, the pressure's been on him for a couple turns, I think.
It's ironic. The back and forth between Thalia attacking Karakas and Force of Will there, I think that favored Rachel, and I think that Andreas saw a neat line, but it actually wasn't the best one.
Interesting. So...
Yeah, there it is.
Can't beat the Deathrite Shamans.
Wow.
Yeah, even if he bounces Leovold, she can use Deathrite to block Thought-Knot, activate it, 2 Deathrites, untap, even if there's only 1 Deathrite Shaman left alive because the other had to jump. We're on to game 3.
And that Ancient Tomb, which was so good in the mid game, the early mid game at removing Jace the Mind Sculptor, turned out to be too much of an Achilles heel in the long run.
Yeah, good point. She never attacked him with a creature. It was just he Ancient Tombed his way down to 6, and she had 2 Deathrite Shamans. Ball game. All right, here we are in game 3.
Both players with very weak hands, at least at face value. Her hand is filled with some good cards, but no black mana to really make it go. He
Fair, and
mulliganed
she's on the
into
draw.
he mulliganed into turn 1 Thalia, which is good enough. She kept. It's a little speculative, but the turn 1 JVP is a great play, except for the Revokers, which we're now seeing the first one of tonight.
Yeah, she needs black mana.
It's no longer turn 1 JVP, of course, thanks to Thalia, but
Yeah,
that's how it goes.
Tropical's going to pay for the Emerald.
Yeah, if I was Rachel, I would play Wasteland into Emerald there, because now
I
Wasteland cuts her off of all of
100%
her
agree with
spells.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he pulls a Wasteland off the top, oh, he did not, but still. Now she is getting some ancillary benefit of him having Revoker here, because he's going to preemptively revoke when it would have been better on JVP. I think if I was Andreas, I would have gone with Glow Rider there rather than Revoker.
Sure. I like that.
Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf's a pretty good draw here.
I mean, it's an 0-1, but...
Yeah, but that's not going to last. She's got a
Fair.
Wasteland in play. He's going to draw a Wasteland or a Wasteable Land or Black Lotus. Ironically, this Black Lotus is not very good for him.
Bumps up Tarmogoyf. Yeah,
It's also
Glow
worth
Rider.
noting that he cannot cast a colorless Eldrazi with this draw yet. If he draws Thought Knot Seer, Reality Smasher, they're just going to rot in his hand until he pulls a better land out. We'll see
He's
the game
doing...
action.
This is still a solid curve, though. Oh,
It
there's
is.
the black mana.
It really is.
Underground Sea is great
Okay,
here.
see now the combination of JVP, Fatal Push, Tarmogoyf, Bob, Snap. This is, if the mana continues to be comfortable for her, this game, she has all the tools she needs to win this game.
And this is the match where we said Andreas had the biggest advantage.
Mm-hmm.
His advantage, though, was he's disruptive. He's got a full suite of 4 Wastelands and a Strip Mine. She has 0 basics, and she's a, somewhat greedy 3-color mana base. Like, 3-color mana base that squeezes in a couple of Wastelands, doesn't have any basics. If she can cast her spells, then, she's got everything covered except the, curve of the couple of Reality Smashers in it.
Agreed.
All right, JVP discards a Bob. Yeah, play the other one. I like it. She found a Delta off the JVP, too.
This is threatening her life total a bit. I'm a little bit
Yeah, I might
confused
have...
about why she did not play Tarmogoyf there as well.
Emerald is Revokered.
Oh, that's the reason. There you go. Sure enough.
I was wondering, Dark Confidant can trade with Glow Rider here. It's not crazy. Or with Revoker. I might have actually kept the other Dark Confidant just as a blocker. Like, seriously, she's like, do I want the extra cards or do I want to trade? I think you want to trade.
I think you want to trade.
You definitely don't want to take 6 and then have a Dark Confidant active. But I wonder if... I don't know. All the cards she kept are great, so I guess her line is... I guess it was the best discard.
I think it was. She still needs push plus snap to get push, and she recognizes how good Goyf is in the matchup.
Yep. Those are all bad.
All of these interactions favor Rachel filling her graveyard too for JVP.
Totally.
Now she has a polluted Delta, which allows her to activate the targeting of Displacer. But as I observed before, this Displacer has no text box right now. Save for
no
deploy,
colorless mana.
Yeah.
Still, I think she pushes something so that she can Jace and flip it. I think. I guess it gets attacked, but you Jace. It's a 2-mana push followed by a Tarmogoyf. Yeah, Tarmogoyf blocks pretty well to defend your Planeswalker.
Here you see her
decides to push the Displacer.
Yeah.
I think any of the 3 would have been reasonable. I guess I like pushing the Displacer there while you've got whatever the word
Revolt.
is.
Yeah.
Revolt, thank you. Because when she flashes it back now, she's got 2-mana targets. Tick up and play Tarmogoyf.
Yeah.
Rachel's winning this. She is pulled comfortably ahead. Andreas has to top deck, and like you pointed out, he can't cast that card.
There it is.
He
It's really
generates
hard
white mana, blue mana, and mana of any color. None of that casts Thought-Knot Seer.
It is hard to manufacture dead cards for the Eldrazi deck in this matchup, and this draw for Andreas has managed to do it. Super unfortunate for him, having 5 mana sources and missing one of his colors. Turns out that Black Lotus only produces 5 out of the 6 colors in Magic. Lo and behold, this Tarmogoyf, it's hard to see. That's a 3/4 Tarmogoyf at this point, right? Instant creature land.
Yeah, she's going to flashback the Fatal Push here, though. Still,
yeah. Tarmogoyf, I mean, she has access to Brainstorm next turn, too. Now it's interesting. She can start going on the offensive, right?
I would. Yeah, turn Tarmogoyf sideways. I would. You trade your already used up Snapcaster for Revoker here.
Yeah, the thing she has to watch out for, though, is if that Eldrazi that he had been holding was Smasher, it would come down uncounterably right here and now.
Did you see how much loyalty JVP has?
Yeah.
That's worth checking to see if Force of Will blue card was coming. We'll settle for those. It's fine.
Well, that's an uncounterable Thought-Knot Seer anyway.
No, it's not. He had to. He needed the colorless mana from the cavern.
Right. Sorry, you're right. That was his first colorless source. He tapped it for Wingdings, and that was the only thing that made it work.
Yeah, it's only colored mana that comes along with the uncounterable kicker. All right, so Thought-Knot Seer.
Yeah, a
Grab
quality wasteland. A quality wasteland for Rachel. You know, wasteland is obviously targeted at Cavern for many reasons in this matchup, but in this particular game, it's better than average because she's cutting him off of future Eldrazi full stop.
Indeed. Yeah, she gets to play Leovold. Tarmogoyf cannot attack through Thought-Knot Seer, but
Tarmogoyf's only 3/4, so Andreas is going to. Oh, but Thought-Knot Seer is only 2/4 now.
Yeah, GVP.
Yep. There's kind of no way that Andreas can get out of this. I'm not certain you could even stack his deck to get out of this.
If you got to stack both decks, he'd be fine.
Got to stack both decks, probably.
Definitely like her spot, though.
Yeah.
How scary is Dark Confidant here?
Dark Confidant's a little bit of a trick, yeah. She doesn't know the top of her deck anymore because that was the second card back from Brainstorm.
Yeah, maybe it's time to Telepath Unbound flashback the Brainstorm? Yeah, that's exactly what she's going to do.
Sure it is.
Now she gets both a look at cards, the option to shuffle them away with Polluted Delta, and
she
the option to stack the top for Dark Confidant.
She can play Dark Confidant with a... Oh, no, she's just keeping Fatal Pushes. Sorry, not Fatal Pushes, Assassin's Trophies. She just
not interested in trying to handle Dark Confidant.
She can go full aggro here, and my expectation is that this will work for her.
Sure.
Drawing off of Thought-Knot Seer.
Kills the Thought-Knot, gets the draw card. Yeah, and Andreas is just done.
Andreas has seen enough.
Wow.
See, there it is, Randy. The 2-1 win for Rachel. Both games post-board.
Those 2 ugly mental missteps clunked up her hand in the first game, but she got both sideboarded games. I still think that's an upset. Like, sure, I don't even know if she's favored post-sideboarding in one game. Like, she's better. But, like, the matchup, I feel like the matchup goes from 40% to 50% when she takes the dead cards out. Is I think how I would size it up.
Yeah, I think your numbers are probably pretty close to correct. And Andreas was saying before we started the show tonight that she said that she likes his decks, and he said that he doesn't like how much removal he has, and he was right. That game, that game featured what? Her 1 Fatal Push and her 3 of 4 Assassin's Trophies.
We also saw Snuff Out in those post sideboarded games. Yeah, that worked out really well for Rachel.
Came out to play.
All right, well,
move on to our next match.
We are just getting started. Rachel Agnes has drawn first blood. She is up 1-0, but it's best 3 out of 5. So we got at least 2 matches left to play, quite possibly 3 or 4. We're going to take a quick break while our players get set up for the second match. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Cool stuff. Magic the Gathering. Need singles for constructed or kitchen table play? Looking to pick up some sealed product or the latest in Magic accessories? We've got you covered with our extensive live inventory. With free shipping on orders of $100 or more, a 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is the place for all your Magic the Gathering needs.